Hello and welcome to Dishing on Swishing, where we feed you the rock and the knowledge. Today we have a player who's playing so well that he is neck and neck with Westbrook in the MVP race despite Westbrook averaging a triple-double. That player is James Harden, and today we're going to break down his favorite move. But first let's get a little background on it. When Harden was the sixth man on OKC's uber-talented young team, he was very good, but it seemed like he was missing something. He was exposed in the NBA Finals when the Heat showed that he didn't have any standout moves that he could rely on for easy offense. He took that lesson to heart, and when he went to the Rockets, he started putting in work on a move that would bend the NBA rulebook while also adding to his already deadly shooting and passing game. This move gave him the ability to draw fouls at will, and he became fearless in his use of it. Each subsequent season, he would add a new layer to this move. This leads us into our first segment, the stats. James Harden has done a great job improving his game every season of his career, and this season, the Mike D'Antoni effect has certainly made its impact on his stats. If you don't know what the D'Antoni effect is, it's what happens to good point guards when D'Antoni takes over as the head coach. D'Antoni is one of the original adopters of the 7 seconds or less offense, where the team tries to score within 7 seconds of a defensive stop. For his career, Harden averages 22.1 points per game, 5.7 assists, and 5 rebounds. But since he took over as the number one option in Houston, he has averaged 27.4 points, 7.6 assists, and 6 rebounds. He has evolved the combo guard position to new heights, and I'll be interested to see what impact his success has on future players. James Harden is a fantastic example of a signature move series. He has his main move with a few variations of it and 2 or 3 counters specifically for that move. He plays mostly off the ball, as we can see from this shot chart. He doesn't spend too much time on the wings or in the corners. Now it's time to look at his signature move, the Harden Scoop. Now because Harden is such a great shooter, defenders have to be constantly aware and need to play him tight. He usually gets into it from a simple drive or from pick and roll, almost always going left, as he is left-handed. Once he is at this point, he has to make his decision of what move to do. When he chooses the scoop, he grips the ball tightly with 2 hands, makes as much contact with the defender as possible, and barrels his way to the rim. The defender sees the ball seemingly exposed in front of him and attempts to swipe the ball and get the strip. But because Harden is initiating the contact, and because he has such strong hands, the defender is going to get the foul called on them, or they have to back away, and then Harden just has an easy layup. So on this play, we actually see James Harden driving to the right, and he gets to the decision point and decides to draw a foul here. And we see right there, he sticks the ball out between the 2 defenders and draws the foul. So on this play, we see James Harden driving to the left as he does, and he throws out that signature move in front of the defender, thinks, oh, I can get it, but really James Harden has it tight in his hands, and he's able to draw the foul. Here we have a play from the first round of the playoffs this year, with James Harden coming off his screen going to his left. Now he gets to the decision point and almost looks like he's going to step back, but decides to go all the way and gets the foul on Robertson. Here we see a variation of the play where the big man isn't out far enough to bother his play, so he just drives all the way to the rim and gets easy bucket. This move gets him to the free throw line 11 times a game. I hope you're ready because here comes
Epic Foul Montage.
Wow!
This move is a constant source of offense as long as Harden is able to get into the paint. This season he has developed this idea even further, as when he goes around a screen and the defender tries to do anything but go under or stay behind, then he catches their arm reaching in, and as soon as contact is made, he throws the ball at the rim, drawing the 3-point foul. Counter 1. Now the way for defenders to counter this is to try and jump ahead of Harden and get into position and potentially draw a charge. This prompts Harden to use his second favorite move, the Euro step. Now in the half court, let's go back to his signature move. Remember when he got into this point and I said this is where he needs to make his decision? Well, one of those decisions is to cross over to the right side of the rim. He starts to expose the ball going left while planting off his left foot and pulls it back over his face and to the right, jumping off the right foot while he's still shooting with his left hand. This is different than a normal Euro step because most players switch hands on the crossover, but Harden keeps it in his left. This has developed into possibly his go-to option in the open court. Counter 2, the step back. His third option is when defenders jump ahead or a shot blocker rotates over. He gets to the decision point and chooses to step back. He usually pushes off his right foot, which gets him into his shooting pocket and makes his shot repeatable. His jumper is also compact, and he is a short jumper, so there isn't a whole lot of motion, which makes stepping back to his left easier than for a lot of players. Here we see James Harden in a short clock situation. After crossing over a couple times, he gets to the decision point and sees Dario Saric putting down his hands. Now when he does that, it's just a simple step back, and James Harden's got an easy bucket. Counter 3, the floater. This is one he's added recently, and it's pretty simple. He just gets to the decision point and decides to throw up a quick floater to keep the defense off balance. Of course, his signature move wouldn't be effective if he didn't have a super solid foundation as a shooter, ball handler, and passer. His style of play is very unique in the NBA, and the way that the offense revolves around him, yet complements his game, is an absolute credit to the way the management has built the team, and the way D'Antoni has incorporated this into their style of play. This might limit their playoff success because teams deep in the playoffs make it harder and harder to rely on one player as much as the Rockets do. A word of caution though, James Harden's signature move is one that bends the NBA rulebook, and when this happens it usually sparks a rule change, and that could potentially limit his signature move's effectiveness in the future. We'll just have to keep a close eye on it. Time for the post-game interview. This is where I ask you the question of the week. Our question today is, how many championships do you think the Thunder would have won had Harden, Durant, and Westbrook stayed together? Remember that they came close in 2012. Click the card in the top right or comment below to let us know what you think. Thanks for tuning in this week. If you liked what you saw, make sure you hit the circle on your screen to subscribe. We've got lots of great stuff down the pipeline, and we're trying to increase our upload frequency. Hope to see you next time for more Dishing on Swishing.